And remember, let's be kind to the bees, not leave them out in the cold wind too long. We'll be working a lot over here on this side, which will be in the lee of the house, so that the wind won't affect them too much. If it starts to sprinkle a little bit, those hives also have a shallow roof over top of them, so there won't be any direct rain into the hive. It's a great opportunity to have you guys out. We've done this a couple times, and it's always turned out wonderful. Probably the first thing to bring up, has everybody signed the hold harmless agreement?
No.
Okay, come sign your life away.
Actually, you signed it at the hive assembly workshop, so you're good.
Yeah, you should only have to sign once.
Right.
Okay.
Once a year is enough.
Yeah, I went to the hive assembly.
Phil has some alcohol and paper towels to wipe your hive tools off with. That way we don't share bugs. So if anybody would like to... Oh.
Sorry about that.
Claim for silverware?
While she's doing that, I've got a story to tell you guys. My wife, she's really, really good, nice to me, and she mixes up my sugar water for my bees. And last fall she was mixing it up, and this spring she started to mix it up, and I said, I want to change the recipe. I want to do it half of what it was last fall. Well, I thought we were doing 2-to-1 last fall, and now we're doing 1-to-1 this spring. And it turns out we were doing 1-to-1 at some point, and we've now been doing half 1-to-1, which was a mistake on my part and a communication error. The bees did fine on it, other than I had a couple of the feeders sugar water ferment. And I'll show you one of those here in a minute. While we're kind of getting ready though, let me show you how I mix up some water, and then Kevin will talk a little bit about that. And then we'll go over and see the sugar water that's fermented. And then maybe we can go over and see how to treat varroa mite with oxalic acid. Yeah. So what I have in here is a couple gallons of water. I have 19 pounds of water, 2 pounds for a bucket. And so to go 1-to-1 by weight, and it's not an exact science, I need to pour in another 19 pounds, so I have 40 pounds in here.
Where do you get your sugar?
This is Walmart, but Costco has a non-generic for the same price or a little cheaper.
They're about the same.
Reichert's, that's the place to get sugar.
What's that?
Records?
Yeah.
Alright. Good to know.
50-pound bag.
Good to know.
Well,
Closer
Yeah.
to.
exactly.
Kevin, do you want to talk about your Honeybee Healthy recipe?
Hey, are you, any of you folks using Honeybee Healthy in your sugar water? Are you using the store-bought kind? Or are you using the one on the website?
I'm using from Harold.
Store-bought?
From Harold.
How many store-bought?
Exactly.
The store-bought is
40
very, very,
pounds.
very expensive. $100 a gallon, give or
Where do you
take.
get that? Just online?
This is Man Lake, and yeah, it really is. I think this I bought it on sale for 80 bucks.
You can make your own. The only thing that you won't put in it, I got to stop and think of the name of it. The recipe is 2.5. You mix it up 1-to-1.
Okay.
That's what I do. I take 1-to-1 sugar water. I add in 1/8 of a teaspoon of lecithin. Lecithin you get down at
right
the
there.
health food store. It's a natural trans fat. Once you bring that up to a simmering temp, you add that trans fat in, and then you have to whip it in a blender to break that trans fat up. The other thing I put in is I put in 15 drops of lemongrass oil and 15 drops of spearmint oil. It's the same mixture that's in the store-bought Pro Health. The only thing is in Pro Health you have a foaming agent, which is in shampoos, toothpaste, shaving cream that you're not going to put in it. So that's the only additive that you don't get. And you can go down to the health food store, you buy the lecithin and the 2 small bottles of drops. You can make a gallon of that for mere pennies versus $100.
Is that the recipe like I gave to you on the website?
So
It's 2.5 cups, 2.5 pounds of, no, it's 5 pounds of sugar, 2.5 cups of water. But I just mix it 1 to 1, is what I do. That's the easiest. Yeah.
Pro Health is the same as Honeybee Healthy.
It's the same thing. They just call it different. They may have a little different attitude. I did a little research on the internet a couple, 3 years ago.
Difference between Nestle and Hershey,
Kind of
same chocolate.
That's in
But
Coke.
it really works
You're
well.
talking 15 drops of the oils, is that for 5 gallons or is that for 1
I
gallon?
I mix it up for a gallon.
So you're making a container of the Be Healthy, you're not just putting, okay.
Right, yeah, 15 drops, 15 each, plus the 1/8 of a teaspoon of lecithin for 1 gallon.
And that recipe is on the
Yeah.
On
website.
the website.
It's on the
What
website.
factor is it?
It's under the mentors and classes link, and I'm pretty sure it's under the feeding bees, under that. But it's
Yeah,
also
right.
under
That's
fall management.
either 2 or 3 tablespoons.
Once you make it, how long does it last?
What's that?
Once you make it,
If you do it by volume, it's a 40-60. If you do it by weight,
You know, I've
it's
kept it over
50-50.
winter in the fridge.
Okay.
I got an outdoor fridge in the garage, and I got a jug just like that, and I
Yes.
stick it in the fridge, and
But
when
it's not.
you go to mix it up, I
That's
just take a
fine.
couple of tablespoons, or thereabouts.
Close enough.
I never measure it, I just go glug glug.
right,
Maybe glug glug glug.
that's how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of tablespoons per gallon.
Okay,
And they say with the Pro Health or the Honeybee Healthy, you can stiffen that mixture for,
Yeah.
you know,
Stay right there.
different little diseases and, you know, healthy issues like that. So, and now the other thing too that I do, and Dan does the same thing, I take a 5-gallon bucket, I put 3 gallons of water in it,
right.
and I take a full 25-pound bag of sugar,
Yeah,
dump it in, pour it.
that would do it just fine.
Yeah.
While we're here, I want to thank Bill for bringing the pop. He's our local PepsiCo distributor. And he brought some previews over yesterday, and so thank you very, very much, Bill. All right, well, why don't we go around the side and I'll show you that fermented water, and then malic acid is a treatment that has been used in Europe and Canada for years and years and years. I've been treating my bees with it this last year.
Come on up.
These 3 hives right here are swarms that I've caught in the last 10 days. And this particular hive in the middle has quite a few mites that are dropping onto the board on the bottom. You want to get a picture of that with your camera,
Yeah.
right? So those are mites right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's pass this around.
Show me what a mite looks like. I'd rather keep this.
Oh, yeah. Things right there.
Yeah, the little,
Pass her all around. That's what a mite looks like.
The little sort of reddish brown ones.
It's just wood bleach.
It's good to get an eye for what they look like as opposed to just little wax
As opposed to
bits
buying
and
it from
bits.
Man Lake or something like that. You can buy that at Home Depot for like $3.
Really?
Yeah. That's just wood bleach.
Have you treated yours with it?
Not yet. Myself and
Okay, so I think we're probably ready to trade. So
Zyle in
you folks, and I apologize, the door of the Bobcat's in the way for the connection of the battery, but that's the battery you. So if you guys stand back that way,
we've got a
'cause
video on
it's
it.
going to make a
So,
mist, and it will hopefully blow this way. But if the mist happens to
I'm going to
blow
move
on
out
you,
of the way. Move
get out
over.
of the way of the
Because
mist.
I
It's
am-
dangerous. And it's
I'm
poisonous,
directly
and I don't want
downwind
you all
from-
dying here. Put 2 little spoons on the bottom. You can see the 1 spoon there, and they say 1 scoop per box. So if you have a 2 deep, you want to use 2 scoops. If you have a 1 deep, you want to use 1 scoop. So you get a good heaping scoop. Now, oxalic acid is hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere, and as it does that, it increases in mass and volume. So keep your lids on it. Oh no, that's fine. I got it. Thank you. Yeah, I sure do.
you want this? Yeah. There's no bees.
So what we'll do
You're safe. Thanks.
is we'll put this out in front, kind of keep some of the moisture in,
Just on the edges.
Dan,
or some of the fumes in.
what do you do about the fumes going out through your screen bottom board?
Well, I need the trap drawer, and I'll just put it on. Hardly any come out that way. Yeah.
Because the gas rises.
Did you want to clean that off?
The hot
Okay.
vapor, but
I don't
if it condenses at all, it's going to be near the bottom.
Did everybody hear that? If you're going to do an oxalic acid treatment, you want to put your slider in to help trap the gas
I've got
inside.
a Kevin.
Okay, here we are in one of the yards
What?
here at the LCBA.
Oh, okay.
This is Dan Lon's
You know what I just forgot? I forgot.
one of his yards. We have Kevin Reichert. He is one of the.
I guess so.
Okay. He is a team leader on this. He's one of our mentors, so he's teaching
Hey Dan.
teaching some stuff by going through these hives. You see my video from last year. That's one of the same hives that we went through. And then we have Mr. Fritz here, and he's lighting the smoker. I'm going to be jumping around today. They'll probably go through those hives over there. We've got quite a good turnout. Later on, we're going to split some commercial hives. Okay, here we've taken off the second box and also the hive top feeder, and we're going through the first. We're going through the bottom box here.
Find the queen on the wall and keep her in the box because she does fly, and you don't want her leaving. Yeah, there's no queen on there. Now, as you can see, generally how they build these up is from the outside in is honey, pollen, and then in the brood. So they haven't pulled these two frames, although this frame here you can just see where they're just starting to pull it. So we're going to checkerboard this frame here. We'll put this one here to the outside edge, this way. We're going to disorientate it.
Walk on the other side. Excuse their backs.
I'm going to pull this next frame. We want to try and keep the brood chambers together. If you guys spot the queen, let me know.
So that's a drone, right?
That's the drone. Your worker bees, and nurse bees, forage bees, cleaner bees, everything is female, except that guy right there.
Yeah, can see him.
What about the bottom of the frame? Do you clean that off?
The propolis, you bet. And what we do with that is that we just take the knife and just cut that off. It cuts fairly easy. Someone would grab that.
So if you want to do a 5, you can do that end one there too. Okay.
And the other thing is if you have a good viable queen and you do see swarm cells in here or queen cells, supersedure cells, you know, you've got an option. You can cut them out, you can take this board and move them into another new box and make a nuke out of it. We generally, if the queen is viable and our hives are queen right, we just cut them out.
If you see one that's viable, let's cut it out.
Pardon me?
If you see one that's viable, I need one. Let's cut it out.
So I'm going to do this first box, and then we're going to put it back together. We're going to checkerboard it.
I assume by checkerboarding you mean like
Every other frame is going to be an empty one.
okay.
Because what you're going to do is you're going to help promote those bees to go sideways versus horizontal or vertical. I'm sorry. You want them to go horizontal. Now see the brood on or the burr comb here on the bottom.
Yeah.
We need to clean that on each one of these. But I want to make sure the queen. See, the queen's up in that other box.
Oh.
I always have a hard time spotting the queen anyway.
Actually,
I'm not that skilled
these
at
guys
it.
are quite
Don't you
calm.
know they're all marked if you buy
It's coming up today.
They got a little number on
They're
them.
quite docile, aren't they?
Now, of course, you're always going to sacrifice a little bit of brood when you clean this burr comb, but that's just normal.
That's baby bees,
Yeah.
the milky white stuff.
And as you can see on this frame here, they've got the honey arc hasn't started yet, but you see the corners right here. There's honey, and this will form a rainbow. This will be honey, and then they'll usually stack it in once this brood is hatched. They'll stack it in with pollen, and then the brood will come into the center. So
those are brood cells in here.
How we doing,
well,
Kevin?
these are capped. These are capped brood. Here's what
Yeah,
these
that's
are.
right.
And if you look, this has got, see, they're backfilling it here with pollen. There's no brood in the center of this one. Same way I don't have my glasses on, but I can't look in there and tell me if you see
I
any
didn't
eggs.
see. I didn't see
There's
any.
no eggs in the bottom of
No, I
those
don't see
cells.
any eggs in the bottom.
Okay. Got it?
Yep. Yeah, there are.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I could
Yeah.
see some, but I don't have my glasses.
Can't.
They're in there.
They must
If
be
you
tiny.
focus right up close in the very bottom of those cells, you can see some white things that look like tiny, tiny grains of rice.
Aren't drone cells little?
Can you zoom up in there?
Yep.
What's that?
Yep.
Aren't drone cells little?
So,
The swirl.
yeah.
Well, the swirl, they look like peanuts. And if we find one, I'll be sure to show you.
I don't see many on this side. There's a few, maybe. Okay.
Nice.
Kevin, did you want this frame back in?
Yep.
Okay.
Give me about an inch off this one here now.
Okay, okay, I know what you're going to do. That's just great.
No, I'll move it over a little bit.
Okay, that bark on the bottom is the way Mike Redford does sugar water. He puts bark in a can that has a hole in the side of it, and the bark keeps the bees from drowning. Okay. I'm going to go see how Susan's doing.
Okay. So we're just about ready to start. We'll checkerboard this first box, and what that's going to do. See, I was just out on some bees the other day with a new member, and he started his bees in 6-inch honey supers. Oh. And you actually retard them because you need 10 frames, and he only had 9 in them. You need 10 frames in the deeps because the more room they have, the more bees they make. And you retard them in a 6-inch or an 8-inch box, and come fall you don't have the bee population that you need.
So you would suggest too deep?
To start them,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I know I was told, okay, deep and then maybe a medium.
See, now there's a good pattern. See how that brood...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Here, Cody, just real quick. See, Cody, how that board is completely full of brood?
That's about what I have
both-
in my hives.
Basically, both sides is full of it.
It is a solid brood pattern.
Oh, and there's
No,
there's
yep,
fruit.
there she is. Here's the
Yeah,
queen.
there's the queen.
So we're going to keep her in here. We're going to keep her real close.
Right there.
Cody, right at the end of my knife.
Oh, there's the queen.
See her?
Yeah.
The end of my knife.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so we're just going to put her back in there because
We don't want to mess with
I
her.
don't want to lose her and I don't want to roll her. So this is the reason you pull frames out prior to, because you don't want to get off there. You don't want to roll that queen. So what we're going to do, we know she's in the bottom.
Say, did she just come to the top? Maybe she turned back around.
She might have turned back.
Okay, good.
They don't
So-
like the line.
We're going to start over here. We're going to get these out. That one in there. Okay, what have we got? 3?
Okay, so we do empty, drawn, empty, drawn.
We're going to put this one right in here. Now the other thing that you can do is as you put these back in, you can spray them lightly with sugar water to make them draw to them quicker. And here again, we're going to slide them as we come back in. Remember, the queen was on this one, so I want to be careful with that one. Okay, we should put another one in here, but I don't want to bust up that brood chamber. So I'm going to move this one back in and keep that brood chamber fairly tight. Then we're going to drop this one in here. Okay. Then we're going to pull this one over. We're going to pull this one out. I want you to grab that frame there and put it in. And bring it towards me. Towards the center. Push it right down in there. Bring it towards me now. And then I want you to pull that side frame out. Okay, we'll put this one back in. We'll pull it over. And I'm gonna pull them fairly tight
Yeah.
to make room for this one. Now, if you can, take this one at an angle and go this way.
You got it?
Yep, I got it. Just go in at a little bit of an angle to start.
Okay.
And set it in. So what you've done now is you've basically checkerboarded every other frame. That promotes them to go horizontal instead of vertical. Now we'll do the same with this top box.
So
Maybe
you do
not
this on
quite
your
as much.
established hives every year?
Pardon me?
You do this on your established hives every year, or just new?
No, the established overwintered hives, what we do is we flop the boxes.
Right.
We flip them.
Right. Did
And
that.
depending on what they look like, you may have to go in and
Okay.
re-checkerboard them. But coming through winter, they're in the top box.
Right.
You want to put her back on the bottom
Which we did.
to start. Now that being said, if it's honey bound still in the top box, you don't want to put it back down on the bottom. So leave it on the top. We've had some hives that way. Now the one thing that I do when I put the brood box back on is I normally go off center a little bit like that, and I do the same with my tops, and then I shake them. Just walk them in this way, especially if you have a lot of bees, and it gives the bees time to get out of the way.
Okay.
So you're not killing and smashing a whole bunch. And then I just take two corners and I flush them up as best I can and leave it. I'm going to do the same process. We're going to come up here, bust the top off, start from the outside edge. Once you do this a time or two, you should theoretically be able to go through these in less than 5 minutes.
Right.
But I strongly recommend don't do it in a hurry. The first year or two. Now Dan has pretty much already checkerboarded this top, and the reason for that is you can see the old frame, new frame, old, new, old. So he's already done that. So I would recommend just putting them back together and leaving them, because he's already gone through that. So we've got your bottoms checkerboarded, Daniel.
Okay, that's just great.
The only thing we will do, here, hold that, is we'll checkerboard this frame right here. So put that one in here.
Some of these hives, this is the first they've been opened up since I put them
Smells like
in as
Arby's.
packages.
Yeah. No, this is a good one here. You've seen the queen, she's laying a good pattern.
Good.
Now some people like to space these out.
I like them together.
I like them together and tight. I pull them in off the edge.
So you get a little extra space on the outside.
Keep them tight to the center. They just seem to do better.
Well, I can see, and that also gives you the advantage to break it apart there too. You got a place to.
Correct. And then we're going to put the feeder back.
Yeah, I like mine spaced evenly on both sides, because if there's too much space on one side, they draw a comb
Yeah, they do.
sideways. You know.
So does everybody feed their bees?
Most everybody's
Yeah.
feeding them.
We don't.
You should feed package bees for at least a while.
Okay. Like established hives over winter?
You know, we feed our overwintered hives early April, just to give them a little bit of go juice,
Even this year?
even this year.
Okay.
And then, you know, by the end of April, at the latest, we could feed them. And then we just take the feed completely off it.
I like the idea that the hive top feeder versus one that you replace a frame on the inside. Then
Yeah, the inboard feeder. See,
Yeah.
we don't use these big feeders. We just use the Boardmans,
Oh.
because we don't feed hives gallons unless they're new hives like this. But I still use the Boardmans because they'll work better, and then I can remove them easy.
those are kind of the bottles that
Yep,
stick down here.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
What if you have a swarm? Will you feed your swarm?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and it depends too if you put new bees or swarm bees in on pulled comb or new foundation. Because if you put them in on new foundation, if you feed them, it promotes their wax gland to promote wax pulling. If you put them in on pulled comb, they don't need to pull the wax. All they need to do is make babies, bring in pollen, and make honey. So you can feed them a little bit to get them going, but on new foundation, you need to feed them. It helps stimulate them and it builds them quicker. Because your goal for these bees, it's a 2-year project. You don't get no honey off them this year. So your goal is to get them in 2 full boxes, pulled comb, maybe with a small honey super, a 6-inch on them by fall, as long as you got a good flow. And if not, then your next chore is to get them to overwinter. And that's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
Yeah.
is. So
Okay, we're gonna go to another
now this
hive.